Num num. Birdie num num.
And when I have understanding of computers, I shall be the supreme being. God isn't interested in technology. He knows nothing of the potential of the microchip or the silicon revolution. Look how he spends his time. 43 species of parrots. Nipples for men.
Don't do that, Jesus Christ! You're gonna get me killed! Out of here!
Oh, Billy. Ah!
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Welcome, everybody, to Aeon Byte, to AB Live on this Freya Day. And yes, per the intro and our guest, God is very interested in technology. Well, the wrong God, as we shall see. And yes, men still have nipples, and that has never been solved yet. I don't think it will today, because we have an exciting topic. We will be discussing Lilith. I don't know if she's interested in nipples for men, but regardless, she will win the game as we're talking. And for those of you ready to transform yourself and break down reality to see the truth, you will also win. My name is Miguel Connor, and I am your pompatus of gnosis, hopefully bringing you a hunka burning gnosis as well. And as always, very excited to have the man himself from Sweden, Mr. David Block. David, how are you? So good to see you as always, and once again.
It's great, Miguel. Thank you for having me on. And it's a pleasure to be here with you both and your audience. It's a great audience, and I'm very excited to this one. I hope you will enjoy it.
Oh, it will be great, as are all of your presentations. The engagement is high. The feedback is great. The Vatican hasn't tried to cancel us, so that's a good thing. So we're keeping them at bay, and all the other powers that be that work for the Golem God. So life is good. And with us too, we've got the Moondog Vance. Vance, how are you doing?
Okay, Pope just called. He's anxiously watching. And always glad to see a show about my ex-wife. So here we go.
Mother-in-law. Yeah, I know. You can come up with the jokes. Yeah. Since Peter Sellers appeared for the video interview, you should say the pip is in his room, like the Pink Panther. So awesome. Yeah, we'll get started immediately. We don't want to waste any more chronos. For some housekeeping, I'll mention it later. But yeah, on Monday, we've got Mitch Horowitz going to talk about his book, Modern Occultism. So that should be a great show. Still some great shows to round up September, including, yes, as we are in this theme of technology and evil and totalitarianism and AI, which includes, of course, David Block has written and presented a lot about it. And so have our guests this month. It's been a reoccurring theme, and we will end the month with, Jason Reza Georgiani will be talking about his new book, making the case that don't worry about AI being conscious, it's already conscious. So that should be exciting, and great shows coming in October on, totalitarianism, Gnosticism, cannabis and entheogens and ancient and modern cultures. And what other topics? So great topics. Hermes and Jesus. So don't go anywhere. Please support this show. Please help keep the lights of the Pleroma on in any way you can support. Subscribe, share, leave comments, just bang the drum. That's it really for housekeeping. So, and as always, if you have any questions for David or comments at the end, please super chat them so we can get to them. And Vance will be watching the chat room so it doesn't turn into the Chatico, as always. I think that's all I got. David, do you want to say anything or get started? You tell us. You're the boss.
No, let's get going.
You're the demiurge now. You have control.
That's great.
That's great. I finally get my chance to rule the world. Yes.
Then I will try to release you from my grip on this one. I promise you.
Okay, good. All right. Well, here is your presentation. Take us away.
Thank you, Miguel. This is part 5 of this series with the Watchers. Now, Lilith ain't a Watcher, but she is into this group of spirits. And Lilith is a very ancient spirit, older than Enlil, Jehovah, very ancient. And there are a lot of different takes on this lady. And some information doesn't work with others. The ideas have been different and widespread. Therefore, I try to go back to the source and try to make sense of it all from a left-hand path practice method and theory. So I know you can have different takes on this lady for sure, but I'm not claiming to have the only source. But this is the left-hand path idea of Lilith and what it's all about. And I will try to go back to source because I believe that the source is more pure than later versions. People have misunderstood, drawing their own conclusions and run with it. And I think a lot of information is just misunderstandings of Lilith. But that's my take on it. And this is the left-hand path explanation of Lilith. And another practitioner from the left-hand path might have another opinion, a little different take. Always remember that. But let's go back to the Garden of Eden to explain what Lilith is about. In this Garden of Eden, we have Adam, and Lilith was his first wife, according to the myth. But it was a little bit debate over sexual postures and how to use sex. And Lilith wanted to be on top, and Adam wanted to be on top. It was a little bit a question about sex, but of course, this is a metaphor, a symbology for something else. What is going on here? Well, if you're a right-hand path or a religious person, you're supposed to use sex for procreation, to have children only. That's their interest, to leave something behind you or to have multiple children who can take over after you, or can get the machine going after you, to have population that is growing. Then sex should be for procreation only, to have children. But what Lilith is talking about is not to have children, not pleasure in and of itself, but pleasure to transform through sex, to use sex to reach higher mental state through a sexual magic method. Then the idea of having children comes second to that. Or opposite around, because of course we need to have children, otherwise the human race will die off. But that's not it. Lilith says there is something more with this act of having sex. You can use it to transform yourself with a method, sexual magic. The other idea is, of course, if you want to understand Lilith in another light, is to say, well, you can have sex with whoever, and it's sexual anarchy. And humans often go there because they want to believe, they want to hear what they want to believe. Then you start to misuse sex. I'm not a moral person like that, but that is not what Lilith is saying. Lilith is saying you can use sex for a higher purpose, for a transformation, mental transformation through an esoteric sexual magic method. So you have the religious people, they use sex to have children, and they don't like the Lilith part who says you can have sex for another purpose as well. That's not in their interest, especially if you're Enlil, the demiurge, who want to keep you here. If you can use sex for free you from it, then of course Enlil, Jehovah, Ninurta, his son, doesn't like you to use sex in that capacity. We have talked about the Anunnaki gods before. In this presentation, I just want to mention that Enlil is Jehovah attributed to Jupiter, and Ninurta is Enlil's son, and Ninurta is Saturn. This is the Sumerian myth regarding the Anunnaki gods. It's very important that you remember that. I have talked about this in previous presentation, and I won't go into it more than that. On one of Saturn's poles there is a storm going on, forming a hexa, six-sided shape. And in an hexa, you can put a cube if you draw the lines from it. Then you have a cube. And this cube is often called the cube of Saturn. And this is not, humans are not the only one who speculate and talking about this. Even the spirits is talking about this. And they made it very clear that this is a big event and a very important event. They go so far to say this is a sign of the apocalyptic time we are in now. This is not a small thing. This is a huge thing. And the best representation of this cube and of this Enlil, Ninurta, former gods is of course the Kaaba in Mecca. There you have it, the black cube. And they worship the black cube and give it energy with the rituals. And in this cube there is female genitalia, and I'm going to come back to that, a yoni, in the end of this presentation, and you will understand the symbolism when this presentation is over. That's my goal anyway. Well, a cube is a six-sided form. If you unfold it, you have a cross, 6 sides. If you count 1 to 6 equals 21. And we are going to unfold this cube of Enlil, Ninurta. In the tarot deck, you have 21 cards in the major arcana plus the Fool, making it 22 in total. The number 7 is very important. We all know this in Thelema, AOTO, Aleister Crowley's esoteric organization, that 777 is an important number. But why? Why is 777 important? If you take the cards, number 7, 14, and 21, and lay it out on this cross, this is the position they have. It's the universe, art, and the chariot in Crowley's deck, the Thoth or Tahuti. And if you take 7 plus 7 plus 7, it equals of course 21. Plus the Fool. Now, if you put the major arcana in this position, like this instead, like you have the first card, second and the third on the first row, and then you change row 4, 5, 6, change row 7, 8, 9, you get 3 towers, 7, 7, 7. And 777, alludes to completion, to finish your work. The 21st card is the universe card, coming back to the Fool. The hero's journey. And if you count the cards, 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6, and you break it down in the Pythagoras esoteric practice, you break it down to a single digit, you get 66666 every row. 1, 2, 3, 6, and so on, all the way up to the last card, the 21st card. Now, this is if you put it downward up, but you do the opposite around when you put it on the tree of life. The beginning is also the end. The universe is also the Fool. This is the great work, 777. And if you take 6 times 7, it is 7 cards in each row. You got the number 42. And the number 42 is the number of the Fool. And you can see it's yellow, it's a sun in the corner. 42 is the solar number. And the Fool has this bag behind his back, carrying all the cards from the Major Arcana with him, because he's going on this hero's journey, and he's going to use this energy, these symbols, to transform himself into a higher being. The great work is at hand, and the great journey is about to start. Then these cards end up in this position. Number 7, 14, and 21 forms a straight row to the left corner, and that is Saturn Bina. 7, 14, and 21, and you crack open the cube of Saturn, and you escape the demiurgic matrix prison through Saturn. And that is what we are going to do today, I hope, at least in theory. Because, of course, we have movies, and we have a demiurgic force who want to keep us here. In the movie Hellraiser, for example, you have this cube, and if you open this cube, chains and shit come out at you and torture you and harass you, and these are forces you have to overcome or go under with it. When you open the cube, you can't make it undone. Then the deal is on until you have finished it. Either you win or you lose. You end up in hell or you transform yourself. And this Hellraiser franchise became many movies. Too many movies, you can say, but at least you have this trilogy. And every one of them ends in 93 minutes apiece. And of course, a reference to Thelema and OTO and Alistair Crowley's love will.
Yeah, I think I'd rather deal with Hellraiser to Needlehead or Pinhead than have to watch the other after the third movie, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's really an exercise in terrible cinema. But the first three are, 1 is great, 2 is good, 3 is, they're very they're watchable. Yeah,
they are. Well put there. I don't have anything more to add to that.
Inner movie critic, but 93 minutes. That's amazing.
Yeah, all 3 of the first 3 movies ends in 3 minutes. Of course, it's not a coincidence.
Of course not.
Well, the cube in Hellraiser ends up in Bina, of course, it's Saturn. If you crack open or have the fortitude to do it, you have to face the kind of harsh forces coming at you. This is the hero's journey. And it ain't easy. It's hard work, method, discipline. And if you go astray, you can for sure end up under some very harsh forces. So if you do the journey, make sure you have the right attitude and the will to go all the way. We are going to take the journey through the Cliffotic tree, and we are going to visit the hotel in The Shining again, because in the movie The Shining, it is Danny who makes this journey. Jack had tried to make this journey, but failed. And I know I've talked a lot about The Shining, and this is the last time, but I can show you. Bear with me, I will show you new information yet again. Stanley Kubrick knew a lot of things. And he tried to tell you with his movie, not only The Shining, but with Space Odyssey 2001 and Eyes Wide Shut as well, and AI. He didn't make the movie, but he started to make sketches and so on. I will talk about AI as well. First, we have to measure the demiurgic matrix. What is it? How can we define it? Well, I think it's made up through technology. I think it's a manipulation of our view on reality, of our senses, distort energy, distort sound and light, distort our perception of what is. And I think you can find technology on the moon. I think you can find technology on Saturn's moons, distorting our reality. And I think the technology on the moon in Space Odyssey 2001 was for Stanley Kubrick to tell there is things on the moon that ain't natural. And this matrix is made up from the moon to Saturn. I'm sure maybe Mars, maybe Jupiter's moon, I don't know. But Azazel stated that he is trapped in one of Saturn's moon, Mimas. Meaning he is trapped here with us in this matrix. Lilith seems to be trapped on this Earth and on the moon. Through technology, I would say. Now, they can manipulate our reality, but they have a hard time to travel this demiurgic matrix with the spirit because they have lost their spark. Therefore, they need technology on the moon and Saturn to be able to transcend the boundaries, the threshold that occurs on our sun. And I think they have had this technology in place for a very long time. That's speculation. I will try to throw as much evidence at you as I can, but you are my court. You are the one who decide what conclusion you want to draw. Lucifer has stated that when this demiurgic matrix was created, he created his own matrix just outside of it in order to not get trapped within it. There is waiting for us to open up the floodgates and let him in again, to animate us with his spark. So this is a spiritual war. On one side you have Enlil, his son Ninurta, the demiurge. On the other side you have Lucifer, the Watchers, our ancient gods, having gotten a bad rap. Of course, that's a very good manipulation. If you don't want us to start to work with them, they have to be the enemy. The chaos, and they are chaos. They are a threat to this order, to this cube of Saturn. Time, schedule, titles. money, banking, trapments to keep you back, to hold you back from your potential. And the best way to do it is to convince you that you are a piece of shit and you are a zoo animal trapped here forever.
Yeah.
You don't have a spark. These forces are evil. If you get into religion, these forces are evil. If you get into atheism, materialism, you are stuck in the mental self-made zoo. That it is. If you state you're an animal, that is what it is. Nothing more. Sartorial is the name of Bina on the other side, on the cliffotic tree, but it's the same cliff, but this is the other side, it's on the dark tree of life. And there you have Saturn in Urta, controlling. For technology, distortion, our matrix reality. So in the movie The Shining, you have Danny sitting on the floor on this hexa, playing with cars. And we know that the ball that comes rolling is Venus and a pentagram. Because you use pentagram and the hexagram when you do ritual. Open up to the other side, the metaphysical realm from the material. If you want to go from the material to the metaphysical, we're using hexagrams, pentagrams. It is something in our mind that clicks with it. Hard to tell. Things are stranger than fiction. I can't explain it, of course. But the pentagram has 5 sides and the hexagram has 6 sides. Equal 11. And 11 is the magical word in Thelema. Abrahadabra equals 11. And the doors is open to the moon room, to the cliffotic tree. For Danny to visit, of course. So Danny rises up and you see his shirt, Apollo 11, Abrahadabra, going to the moon room as they claim Apollo 11 did. I don't believe for a second they did, but they used another technology they didn't want to share with us. Therefore, they made this silly rocket. But Stanley Kubrick knew about this, but most importantly, number 11 is Abrahadabra, a very important number. Equals the lust card in the Tahuti tarot card by Crowley. And there you have Lilith on the beast's back, who is Crowley. The beast, 666. And 11, if you count 1 to 11, equals 66. Remember that number because it's a very important number. 66 is the reference to the cliffotic tree, to the other side. The first card is 21, the universe, and it is about completion and about doing the hero's journey. And 21 is also the fool, and of course Danny is the fool. Starting this journey and try to end this journey, to have a completion of the journey. And we know that he succeed. That's, of course, a beautiful thing. And now we know it's the room he's going into. 237. And if you take 2 times 3 times 7 equals 42, of course. And but the number 237 is important, and I will explain it when we're talking about the space Odyssey 2001. But remember the number 237, the moon room. Danny rises up and going in to room 237 and see a naked lady. It is Jack who go in the first time around and see this lady. And of course now we know it is Lilith. Now what does Stanley Kubrick say here? Does it say that Lilith is evil? No, he doesn't. And I will explain it in Space Odyssey 2001. He's much more complicated. Stanley Kubrick have a more left-hand path take on it, because you see Jack fall prey to the Lilith character because he has the wrong mental capacity. He's the wrong person to do it. He's a symbol for our so-called elite. And they are completely wrong people to do this journey. But Danny, on the other hand, transformed through these forces because he has overcome them. Therefore, it's a hero's journey, and it's a very harsh journey. The next a very hard threshold is between the moon and the sun, or Yesod, Tiferet, or on the Qliphothic T, Gamaliel and Thagirion. And Thagirion, Tiferet, is the heart of the tree. It is the center of it all, as David Bowie sings in his song The Black Star. And the black star is, of course, Thagirion. In the center of it all, in the center of it all. And they have a rainbow between this as a symbol. If you cross the rainbow, if you manage to cross the rainbow, you are going through the moon to the sun room. You have managed mentally to understand these forces and to transform yourself through them, overcome them, work with them. It's not an easy thing to do. And the next card is, of course, card number 14. And you have this green lady and the rainbow behind her. And it's the art card in Crowley's deck. Changed it. Here is a very important thing. This is a threshold going from the astral to the mental plane. If you are going to do this journey, you need your heart, your intuitive side with you. You can't do it through intellect or logic thinking, because the Qliphothic tree is not logic. If you are into the universe, or you're a doctor and you're a very logic thinking person, you will not make it. If you're a psychopath, you won't make it. This is the end of the journey. This is the threshold they can't breach. For the simple fact, you need your heart with you. But if you can't do it with spark, soul, art, transformation, you try to do it through technology. These people doesn't stop for anything. Be it God, be it whomever. Rather, they see the creator as an asshole. They hate him. Now I'm talking about the real creator, not the demiurge. Because if the demiurge is the ruling force of the material world, and you know he's the highest god here for the time being, then it is better to worship the demiurge and become its servant in hell. This is Thagirion, and of course people talking about the gold room, the sun room. Now we find the elite here, but not because they have overcome this force, but because they are stuck here. And this is Thagirion. In the movie The Shining, it represents by the go room or the ballroom. You see this elite having a party. Applying that these people have tried this journey before but failed. And now they are stuck here forever in this hotel, The Shining. And here we have them, Jack and the rest of them, stuck here as ghosts in the go room. Can't go anywhere. They don't die, they don't live. They are just ghosts. A terrible state for sure. And this is the reason why we know that Jack have been involved with Lilith. And Lilith and Samael combined. When you use sexual magic, you should combine these masculine, feminine forces and transform them through you. And it's like if you manage to focus on the short period when you have an orgasm, your brain shuts down. For the first time, your brain doesn't think of the future or the past. But the trick is, it's not just the orgasm. Now you have to focus on this tiny minute second and take that opportunity to force your way through the threshold. So you need to have this experience and at the same time function in an intuitive, logic way. It's like a gap opening up, a crack in the matrix, and you can take it. But we all know that this people is not into having sex for any higher purposes. You know the elite. I don't have to tell you about them. We know who they are.
Yeah, we know them. Yeah.
If you fail this ordeal, you fall hard into materiality and you start to abuse sex instead. Badly. And this is exactly what Stanley Kubrick is saying in the movie The Shining. Violence, sex, killing, ghosts. You have Lilith, and because we know that Lilith and Samael combined becomes Baphomet, then we know that Jack is Samael. There is no other way around it. I don't want to be a rude asshole, but many people who say they have decoded The Shining ain't close. I'm sorry. But you need to have esoteric knowledge if you want to decode this movie. And the Space Odyssey 2001. This means that Jack and the rest of them are stuck in Thagirion, the Black Sun. They failed the ordeal. They failed the art card, the road, the tunnel between Gamaliel and Thagirion, and fell prey for Thagirion. It means it should come as sexual, like bad sexual behavior, anger, aggression, and so on. And in this room, you have this conversation with this man. I don't remember the name of the man. He says, and this is conversation in the toilet, and he says to Jack, I should know, sir, I have always been here. Meaning he has always been here as a ghost. And then he says, you have always been the caretaker. meaning Jack is stuck there as well. It was a given that he would return to the hotel all along. And Jack is frozen in this labyrinth. And in Thagirion, you have a lot of labyrinths, tunnels, skeletons, skulls and crossbones as symbols. You see it. And ghosts wandering around these labyrinths. And if you remember in the movie The Shining, the labyrinth is not only a labyrinth, but it's built upon an Indian graveyard, applying death. And graveyard ghosts, skulls and crossbones is attributed to Thagirion, that path. Something you have to work with. Fear of death, fear of restrictions. You have to overcome all your fears, transform them. And we know that in the end of the movie, we see Jack hold the position as Baphomet. Therefore, we know Jack, the character, had tried this path before. Tried to become Baphomet, tried to transform himself through the forces of Lilith and Samael, but instead have fallen prey to these forces, ending up in Thagirion or the hotel in The Shining forever as just a ghost of a shell. A dead person without spark is the main thing Stanley wants to tell you. They have no soul. They cannot move. And we see also lots of sexual act. Maybe not a lot, but it's like in the background. Then you see this teddy bear, the man in the teddy bear suit, and a man sticks out his face and look at, I think it's Wendy. Yeah. And there he's talking about sexual act, oral sex, and this is also a very important part of Thagirion. You will see open mouth, traveling through tunnels with open mouth, lot of sex. I'm not condemning sex like at all. I don't care as long as you don't mess around with children. People doesn't want to have sex with you or animal. I'm not like that. But I think you can abuse sex. And I think many people have had the best moments and worst moments with sex. It's a very strong, powerful thing. A very basic need besides water and food. And it should be, because we need to have children. We need to continue the species. Nothing wrong. But it is sad because you can use it in a much more powerful, transforming way. And we should never forget that. So in this movie, AI, Stanley Kubrick started to work with AI. He couldn't finish it because he died. He was 70 years old. I think they did away with him, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
In AI, he would explain much more of this esoteric theories of his, or this, try to tell you about these forces. And now he's turning towards technology, and he started this journey in A Space Odyssey 2001. But you see, he tried to wrap it up with this movie, I believe. It would be a great, not trilogy, because I consider Eyes Wide Shut among these movies as well. But in this movie, you still can see his design, what he wanted to do, and a lot of the design, the houses, the buildings, the tunnels went into mouth gullets, naked ladies, like buildings forming naked ladies, sexual positions, a lot of sexual references. In combination with technology was the connection here. And I have to take you to CERN. And I have to take you to another tarot deck called Hexen 2.0. The boys at CERN gave a lady a prize for putting this cards together, and gave this woman a prize for it. So there you have it. CERN has a lot of connection to esoteric method and practice. I don't care what they say. That is exactly what they say if you want to see it. This is the card CERN thought was that great. And I want to point out the main cards here. We talked about them before. The card number 13, 14, and 15 all leads to Thagirion, the Black Sun. They connect the tunnels to the Thagirion, to the Black Sun. And if you see them well here, you can see it all about technology and transhumanism and internet. The word card, we start to talk about the universe, as Crowley called it, has WWI and WWII applying or talking about World War I, World War II maybe, but then they have WWW. I think they're talking, or I'm quite sure that they're talking about the internet, the World Wide Web. What kind of war are they talking about when they're talking about the World Wide Web? They're talking about information war and to connect the humanity to a high mind in order to control you. It's also completion, but a completion for them, to have you in an eternal return circle in the demiurgic matrix. Then you can't escape. They will kill your spark, they will take away your soul and make you into a drone. Then you have the tower, and the tower in the tarot deck is a reference to the Tower of Babel. And the Tower of Babel in the Old Testament, they was talking about everyone was speaking one language, and then the creator, or Enlil's son, Ninurta, probably, destroyed that connection and scattered them around. And this was a war between the Mardukites and the Enlil side. And you can see on the tower, it says DARPA, and DARPA with CERN gave us the internet we know of today. And I don't believe for a second they did it out of kindness.
No, they care about humanity. They give us free stuff.
That's great.
Right. Yeah.
No, they gave us it because they had the idea of a hive mind to connect all humanity. Well, in the previous presentation, I went through these shots. I don't know if you can talk about it, but the thing they want us to take and have tried to force us to take this, and they want to add or transform our DNA, our genes, and add 2 cytosine into our gene code. ATCG is the normal strand of DNA. It is adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. They want to add 2 cytosine. So instead of ATCG, it becomes ATCCG. If you use gematria on that, you got the number 222. And if you break it down, you got the number 42. Now they have modified our genes or our strand to become digital. They have transformed us to be able to connect us to 5G and internet. If you break down those numbers, you have 6. Transforming the hero's journey, becoming for them their own completion and the bastardization of humanity. And let's take a look at this model again, this cross of mine. There you have CERN, the logo 666. It's of course a reference to Thagirion and the Black Sun. And in the Revelation, in the Bible, book 66, of course, in the New Testament, they are talking about Apollyon and Abaddon. Apollyon, I talked about it in previous presentation, and they are talking about the bottomless pit. And it is a bottomless pit, sort of, if you fall into it. Then you become a passive ghost, dead person without spark. And in the ceremony, opening ceremony of CERN, when they open this tunnel, for the first maybe 3 minutes, you have people just walking as zombies for some reason. And I think you know why. If we lay out this card on my cross, you have the path like this. You have the WWI, WW2, and the card number 21, the word. And you have internet, WWW, World Wide Web, ending on the path between Malkuth, our world, and the moon room. Therefore, and I know they want to do this, is to have an interplanetary internet connecting the Earth to the moon. So the internet becomes an interplanetary system. With you in mind, of course. This card, 13, 14, and 15, is death, art in the Crowley's deck, and the devil. And the devil is the most materialistic card of the major arcana cards. If you don't overcome the devil, you fall prey to egoism and material satisfaction. That is exactly what's happened if you don't manage to cross this threshold, this Thagirion, this rainbow. And you have the same symbol in the Jesuits' weapon of arms, coat of arms. There you have IHS and 3 nails, Vav, Vav, Vav. 666 in Hebrew. Vav, the number of Vav is 6. The Black Sun. And the number is 42 if you count these 3 tarot cards, 13, 14, and 15. Now, 13 is death, 14 art, and the devil. You die, and you should, with art and craft making, the spirit, the spark, transform yourself into a new being, into a higher being, into a higher state of being. Overcome the devil on your journey. These people have failed miserably. They ain't number 42. What they are saying is they want humanity to fail the ordeal, to take away the spark, to become pure ego material creatures, ego-based material creatures. And CERN in Chaldean gematria becomes 50, the devil. And 5 plus 6 equals 11, last card. And 11, 1 to 11 equals 66. Revelation, book 66 in the New Testament is Revelation. Talking about these numbers you see in front of it. He mentioned number 666 and the number 42. Talking about Apollyon, Abaddon, the bottomless pit. Talking about shipping. Talking about the apocalyptic time. Why are they talking about it? I think these people have had this technology for quite a long time. If you know what to do with this technology, you can start to write so-called prophecy, but you already knew the outcome, where you want to go. And now it unfolds in front of you, making people passive, scared, bamboozled. The Christian think the end time is here, giving up, beaten, passive, some wait for Jesus. But passivity is the last thing you should be right now. Rather the opposite around. You should be active and understand what's going on. The Tower card ends up over the art card, connecting all these tunnels to Thagirion. And to remind you again, the Tower card is a reference to Babylon, the Tower of Babel. And the CERN is our new Tower of Babel. So all this card ends up in Thagirion. All these tunnels leads to Thagirion. This is not only to keep us here, but also for them to open up the black sun, because they can't do it for spark. They have lost their spark. They need to do it through technology. And this is a machine, sun is a machine to open up the sun, a portal, a hole, I believe. At the same time, they don't want you to transcend. Therefore, they need to take away your spark before they open these floodgates, meaning vaccine. With this, they can connect you and at the same time take away your spark. Don't ever take that. And of course, we have to talk about the movie Matrix, because these movies are telling you all. And people are saying, well, this is just science fiction. But we can all see it, what they are doing, and that this so-called science fiction come more and more true every day. And you have this character, Agent Smith, and some think he's Lucifer. He's not. Some think the more correct would be Azazel, but it's not. No, he's a program working for the Demiurge, or is an archetype for the elite who have fallen prey to these forces, lost the spark, and now they're pure machine, pure software, pure technology without spark. And therefore, Agent Smith states very clearly in the movie, I must get out of here. I must get free, and in this mind is the key, my key. Meaning you have the soul, the spark they are missing. And the only way for them to transform is through technology. And in the Matrix movie, you see when Neo wakes up, the humans are passive, connected to the machine, connected to the black sun, Thagirion 666. They are not dead, but they are not alive either. They are suspended in an eternal state of being as a food source or energy source for the machines. And this is a reference to the movie The Shining, only so you can see the same references here. And you can hear the conversation between Jack and this butler. You should know, sir, I've always been here, meaning Smith in this case. You have always been the caretaker. Because he's supposed to keep us blind here. He is working for these forces. Now, Agent Smith is not satisfied with this Matrix either. And the elite is not satisfied with the Matrix either. They worship the demiurge because they deem him to be the god of this material world, but they are not pleased. They will do whatever they can to transcend it, but with technology. And you can debate if it is possible or not, but it doesn't matter for them. That's their hope. That's their dreams, to push the boundaries as far as they can. And you should do the same, but your dream should be to push your boundaries as far as you can for spirit and spark. And now we come to the movie Space Odyssey 2001, because you see similarities here maybe. And it's a beautiful movie. It's quite short, slow-paced, but
Indeed.
I hated the movie when I was young, and nothing happens here. It was boring, of course, but when you understand it, it is a beautiful movie. Mm-hmm. And you should see it. If you haven't seen it, see it. We see Danny rising up, and he has his shirt, Apollo 11, meaning the first moon landing, and the number 11, Abrahadabra. But in the Space Odyssey 2001, what happened is, and this is very important, they go to the moon with technology. And you find that there are already buildings there. They have an artificial construct on the moon. Right? But Stanley Kubrick doesn't say who built it. It's just there. They don't say it's aliens. And he doesn't say where on the moon it is. But we can figure out what it is. Because there is a part of the moon called Sinus Iridium. And Sinus Iridium means the Bay of Rainbows. And the Bay of Rainbows, or Sinus Iridium, is 237,000 square feet. 237,000 square feet. And this guy, Bruce, has a channel filming the moon, proving that there is constructs in Sinus, Iridium. There are stuff there. Technology, buildings. And there, I think very strongly that Stanley Kubrick is talking about that part of the moon. Remember, he have a lot of rainbow symbolism, not only because of the cliphotic tree, for many different purposes. There are meaning upon meaning upon meaning. And you have this artificial room or construct lighting up the darkness of the moon, beautiful. And also you have HAL, this computer. And now they're standing on the moon and they are supposed to continue the journey. Now they have changed the script a little bit because Stanley Kubrick wants them to go to Saturn, of course. That would be more logic. But they ending up going to Jupiter instead. But it's a good second choice because Jupiter is attributed to Enlil and Saturn is attributed to his son Inerta, meaning the demiurgic sun. They have to crack open Saturn, the Saturn cube. In this case, they have started their journey with technology. And this astronaut realized that this HAL, this computer, doesn't want me to go there. Start to work against me. Therefore, the astronaut has to overcome this computer, this material technology. And Saturn is a reference to material reality, matter, time. Therefore, he has to overcome HAL. And HAL in Gnostic tradition meaning simulation. The demiurgic matrix simulation he has to overcome in order to continue his journey to the Black Sun or Thagirion. Over the threshold. Because the astronaut knows he can't do this with technology. It will just take him so far and not further. Now he has to shut HAL off. Turn the technology off. Go within. Ignite his spark. Transform and become something more. Not through technology, but through spark. And we know this. And this is how we know that Stanley Kubrick isn't talking down to Lilith or Samael. Rather, what he's saying is you should work with these forces, but you should overcome them. Because in this scene, you have the astronaut drinking wine in a glass. And there is something called the poison of Samael. And if you drink that, your reality gets distorted and skewed, and you realize that the world is not solid, but it is an illusion of light and smoke and mirrors. And HAL is a metaphor for creating this simulation, and he has shut it down. And now we drink the poison of Samael and realize that this is an illusion I can overcome, defeat, and I can transform and become something more. And right now he is in Thagirion, same room as the gold room in The Shining, drinking the poison. Now it sounds harsh to drink poison, But it's a reference that if you take drugs, your reality gets distorted. And you see that reality ain't that solid. And this is a very important lesson. Meaning, who are you if this reality is an illusion? And why are you here? What's the purpose of this simulation? And in the end of the movie, we know that this astronaut succeeded. See the monolith sitting up, and the end is very famous, of course. The star child comes out and he sees the earth from a godly position, from a transformed position, overcoming this technological demiurgic matrix and become reborn or renewed, transformed into new species or a higher human species, a transformed human species. And Lucifer, waiting outside this matrix for us to open it up. And Lucifer has stated, I awaken your sight, I awaken your hearing. Meaning he is the one who whispers in our ear that we can become something more. That we can see that there is something outside of this matrix. We can see it through movies, we can see it through art. We can visualize it. Imagine that it can be something else. And this is so important. If you can't imagine that you can be something else than a zoo animal, then that's it. You need to imagine and visualize that you are and can be something much more. And I know you can. Not because theory, but because of method. Meaning you can go to the gym and train and flex your spiritual muscles and start to transform. The only reason why people are holding back is because most of the part is fear, laziness. We know what we have, but the other side, the cliphotic tree, are dark in our unconscious. And of course it hurts to unlock the unconscious and to deal with all your own darkness and transform it. It hurts, of course. Lilith is there to ignite your spark together with Lucifer, Samans, and all these watchers. But it's a harsh ordeal and no one can do it for you. Some people have a very powerful spirit experience, but that's only experience. What I'm talking about is go to the human train and until you know how to reach this state and to be there and go back to there. It's a map for you to follow, not just an experience and then in the dark and in the labyrinth. But a method giving you a direction and how to go there, how to free yourself. And this is a very important quote from Lucifer. These are archaic tunnels, reptilian tunnels, tunnels back and back. Remember that once you were a predator. Remember that once you were prey. We have come far already, and we are on the threshold to take the next evolutionary step. And the elite knows this. They have to stop you, and you have to transform. We have come to the end of this journey. We have come to an apocalypse. Either you transform or you go under. He who finds the black sun within will command all the heavens. My secret chamber is in silence and darkness. Sorry, in this chamber you will find me. You have to go through the black sun, find your spark. Lucifer is not light, it's a misunderstanding. Lucifer is the dark, but within this dark there is a spark you can ignite. That's the light part of Lucifer. But there is no light tunnels there. You have to go through the darkness. Saturnalia is the essence of my becoming, of my coming. What does he mean? If you remember Rome, they have a festival called Saturnalia, where the slaves becomes the masters and the master becomes the slaves for a period of time. Meaning you, the slaves, will start to take over this matrix and overthrow the elite. If you have the willpower, the spark intact, and the will to transform into a higher being, then this game is over. They know it. They want to connect you. They want to take away a spark. Lucifer is waiting for you to ignite it. Then you will become the master of your own destiny. And the masters of today will be no more. And you don't need any technology in order to do that. Let them put this infrastructure in place. And when they have built this infrastructure, you will find the cracks within the ships and software and everything, and then you will take that gap, because with this technology we can communicate here today, use it against them, find the crack, let them give us this, but no further. You don't need any more technology added to you. You just have to wait, train, be patient, and you will find the crack. They will build it for you. Everything has a purpose, remember that. Lucifer is just waiting for them to do the final step. The crack is coming. In the beginning of the Space Odyssey 2001, you have this ape scene. And this is a very important scene. And now I will speculate a little bit. But you have these apes beginning on a very low level of evolution, but it throws up the bone and you see this spaceship and this transformation, this evolution taking place. We are, as Lucifer stated, there are archaic tunnels, reptilian tunnels, tunnels back and back. Remember that once you were a predator, remember that once you were prey. Meaning we have once been in this state before. An ape-like state. Evolution have made us what we are. Either we evolve, we throw this bone as high as we can, aim as high as we can, and break this circle and evolve to something new. Or this circle will be closed and we will return to an ape-like state. And we have to start all over again. The beginning of the movie of Space Odyssey is also the ending. I think the Nordic Jason Reza is talking about the Nordic. Try to do this journey before us. I think they are our cousins. When they realize that they would devolve if they didn't make the transformation, they try to hold them here through technology in order to not devolve. And therefore, they are left here in a very evolved state, but they have lost their spark. And maybe the Anunnaki gods are just their MK Ultra programmed, aimed at us to make us passive. And this is a very dangerous thing. If you don't devolve, you will have technology without spark, without wisdom. Then you become a very dangerous foe. And maybe some of them are watching us as an enemy. Some of them maybe watch us as a person who has something they have lost and want to make us into their lab animals, to dissect us, to see what we have, but they don't. Therefore, they manipulate the nature, the natural curve or circle. And therefore, you should see the technology left on the moon, Saturn's moon, Mars, gods of war, manipulating us, keeping us in the zoo in order to study us, control us. And I think they don't like us because we have something they lack. Mm-hmm. That's a thought I have. Speculation. So let us throw this bone as high as we can this time around, because I think it's time for us to evolve and leave this circle to become the space, the child in the end of Space Odyssey 2001. We can see this playing out in humanity. This archetype, this Nordic archetype, because they are our cousins, you will see this in some of the elite. And you will see that it most in the Nazis and their mythology and their technology. They are very technology based and also esoteric people, mimicking the Nordic because we are their cousin. This is the archetype within the humanity who have lost the spark but still yearn to travel far. In humanity, you will find 3 very distinct archetypes. I make this very easy now I want to get the point across. But you have the Enlil, the Inerta faction, the demiurgic sheep. Sorry for the wording there, but they are farmers. They are content, they will not move this time around. I'm sorry to say, but I think they will not make it because they are passive, and that's the point. Then you see the Mardukites using temples, technology in combination with esoteric practices to achieve higher state of beings, like the Tower of Babylon. And I know that the Tower of Babylon is a metaphysical, mental, symbolic representation, but also material thing that have existed. The one doesn't have if both exist. The metaphysical seem to manifest a material manifestation. What you can do, it seems that someone is manifest what you can do in material form. And this Nazis is of course in the Mordecite archetype. And please don't send me angry mail, because I know there are good Mordekites as well. And I know that people misuse esoteric knowledge and so on and so forth. And then you have the Luciferians, and they want to transform and evolve to take over this matrix, to become something new, to break the circle. And you will see this playing out today. And the elite of today is within the Mordecite archetype. And one more time, I don't say that all the Mordekites are bad. There are people who call themselves Luciferians who are bad people as well. And as I said, I understand there is a rational reason why they say don't take this path. Because if you're a wrong person, you will fall badly. There is a rationale behind it. But you have to dare, you have to be brave, and you have to push yourself. And if you have the right intent, willpower, be wise, you will make it. Persistent. It ain't an easy road. But I will say, if you look at the Nazis and how they behave, what they are doing, you will see that they're walking in the Nordic footstep. And I think there is a good reason why different esoteric organization was involved with the Apollo 11 and the moon and the race to the moon. Like the Freemasons, the Nazis, and OTO member like Jack Parsons. It's no coincidence. And at last, let us open up the cube of Saturn or the Kaaba, and lo and behold, you will find Lilith there, because they don't want you to start this journey. If they can convince you that you are a bad person, a sinner, and sex is for procreation only, you are stuck here, and they don't have to do anything more than that. That's very convenient for them, because then they can sit back and watch you just destroy yourself for war, be passive, waiting for heaven or whatever, but you will not go anywhere. And this is the most powerful tool they have. And these people have technology have been around a long time, and they have had this technology a very long time to manipulate you, but they have kept it secret. The one who has the technology and the group that doesn't understand that they have this technology will be controlled. That's a given. And we have to expose this. The most important part here is esoteric method, transformation, ignite the spark, but at the same time you should protect yourself, because otherwise they will take the spark from you. They will take the opportunity to work with yourself through method. If you ain't educated, if you don't understand who they are, they will do it against you. If I have to tell you what the demiurge is, I would say it's a technology put there in order to control you, distort your reality, manipulate you, make it harder for you to work, make it harder for you to see through the illusion. Because if you start this journey, they can't do anything. Again, it's over. And as Lucifer has stated, when you have transformed, they can't do anything against you. Then it's over. I'm not here to tell you that you can become a demigod, but a god. That's the truth. I'm not a new ager. I don't run around beaches shouting I'm a god, because when you are in body, you're limited. But you ain't your body. You're light. And in the light you can become a god. And this is an experience. I don't agree with the Gnostic that says this is evil. I think this is an experience. And these people are a necessity for you to experience this. And we will win. When enough of us have awakened, evolved, transformed, they can't do anything. So in the last part, I will go back to Lucifer. And I will state a very powerful thing. And the beginning and the end. I will tell you how this are going to end. And how it began. I already told you at the beginning. But remember that the Anunnaki claim in the Sumerian text that they came 432,000 years ago to manipulate some ape-like creature to become the humans we are. Maybe they just came here when a circle have started where we are where we were in an ape-like state, because you and I have failed to transform ourselves in the former circle. We came from the dark, we came from the apes. I don't believe we were apes, but what I mean and what I think Stanley Kubrick mean is an ape-like state. A very primitive state. If we fall, and this is maybe hard to grasp, but the evolution can go very fast. If you are born in the woods without civilization, you will be an animal. You won't be able to learn how to speak because your center in the brain closes at a certain age, and then you can't be taught how to speak, communicate. That makes a huge difference. Communication, symbolism, art, civilization. The civilization is not your enemy. The zoo is not your enemy. It is here for you to transform in order for you to understand what you will leave behind. It's an experience. I don't see it as an evil thing. I see it as an experience. A necessity. Maybe this demiurgic force have made this game a little bit harder. So be it. Then we play harder. And we will. And in the last episode I will tell you how this are going to end. Yeah.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, I can't wait to loop back to Mr. Lucifer, and beautifully said, inspirational. Love it. I have nothing to say, so I'm going to hand it over to Moondog Vance. Vance, you have a question or super chats?
Yeah, we got one question from Christy Vame, and of course Chester made a super chat.
Thank you, Chester.
Yes, and we'll show that here. See there.
You the
Thank
man.
you, Chester. Yep. Always so generous to us. So,
yeah, it's great.
oh yeah. So we got Christy wants to know. This is a good question too, I think. Although Azazel, Lucifer, Lilith gave us knowledge / freed us from prison since they're trapped, could they also have their own agenda and be using our spark energy in a malevolent way to get free?
We will free them through us. They will be free through us. Therefore, it is more useful for them to empower us. When we free ourselves, they will be free. When we crack open Saturn's cube, then Azazel will be free.
Yeah, they don't have any malevolent intent though. Like once we're free, are they going to do something malevolent with us?
I can only talk about through my experience. I have to say no, but you never know. I can't say I know, then I lie. Lucifer is the one I communicate most with. He come across as a very patient, very empowering, very inspiring person. And when you communicate with Lucifer, between us become quite thin. So I try to mimic him a little bit, and I hope I don't come across as a mean person. I only want you well. I want the human race to evolve. I think we have been here long enough. I think many of us will evolve, and maybe the ones who won't will go around another circle, another goal. And no one will punish you. There are no creators who says, now time is up, you have to leave. No, it's a choice made. You can go back here for another round if you want to. I'm not saying that you have to evolve, but I speak for the people who want to transform. I speak to the people who feel trapped here. I speak to the part of humanity who want to transform. I have no ill will against anyone. If you want to become a prisoner here one more time and have a go at it, so be it.
So be it.
Name your poison, right? Now, Christy also had another interesting question, which is, can we overcome the Matrix without any other entities to help? Just yourself.
Yeah, from here I'm reading Christy Bane. Can you read it like Bane from the Batman movies?
Well, that's Bane.
I have a question to us. Can we overcome the Matrix with that? No, just kidding. Good question. Good question.
Yeah, it is. That's a very good question. And I try to do a short answer. Some say yes, because the right-hand path try to go back to the light and dissolve themselves in the light and become no more and break the reincarnation circle. It is plausible, and I'm not saying they are lying, but it's something in me that feel that that's also part of the demiurgic matrix and the reincarnation circle back here. I think this is only what I think. I think we have to dig a hole underneath the tree of life into the cliffotic tunnels and go up where Keter and Lucifer are. I think the matrix is very hard programmed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Many of the so-called light workers, right-hand path people come across as liars and bullshitters to me. I haven't seen proof of their magnificence. I hope to be proven wrong. I know I can sound like a harsh yeah, I know I can sound like a harsh person, but I think the first thing, if you found a good person, a Gnostic method theory, at least he should be honest and very straightforward. Telling you what you have to be told can hurt your feelings, but always tell the truth. And when you speculate, you say so. This is what I believe. I don't know this. This is my beliefs. There is a difference between theory and method. If you ask about method, I should be able to give you a method in order for you to get in contact with the spirit and you're on your journey. And then you can feel and see what I'm talking about. And if you can't, you should question me. If you do the right thing. Where is the Sadhguru example, for example? He had this crowd in front of him, like 50,000 people sitting there as a guru or whatever. Right. Where is the method? He wasting people's time.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that, Christy. And yeah, great questions. Really appreciate it. Who else gave us super chat that we should talk to? Esoteric Teachings. Thank you very much for your support. It's been an amazing show, and I've got so much to think of and so much to reflect upon. So, any other last questions, Vance, or from you?
Yeah, it occurred to me when we were talking about 2001. There are no obvious Lilith characters, or and even in the Matrix, among the machines, it seemed the machines had mostly a masculine energy. What do you think that means? Why was that?
You have to watch the Barbie movie, because it does a spoof on 2001 at the beginning. I think that's the anima side coming out. Yeah.
No, it is correct. In the case of the movie The Matrix, Neo had this lady following him. What's her name? Seems to be a Sophia character who resurrects him, and he wrecks it. Yeah, Trinity. Sorry, Trinity seems to be a Sophia character, and you can make the case that Lilith is the dark side of Sophia. The falling Sophia. What it implies is that Lilith, when this matrix was put in place, chose to fall into it in order for us to be able to connect to her from the Earth plane. Meaning that the cube, the Kaaba, hold this force in the shadows for us not to find it or start to work with it.
Yeah, and let's be real too. Kubrick's not into strong female characters except to traumatize them. Arthur C. Clarke was not into women, but he was not into men. He was into, can't say it on the internet, so that might be a reason. Yeah, that might be a reason.
But Wendy in The Shining, the woman there, is maybe not strong, but I feel it's a little bit unfair. I think she's a representation of humanity who doesn't want to see what's going on and have closed her eyes wide shut. But she wakes up and tries to do the best.
Yeah, I think she was strong. She did what she had to do to run and survive.
Many people doesn't even do that. Mm-hmm. They line up in long queue waiting for.
Did you ever watch Dr. Sleep, David?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
Yeah, it wasn't as good as The Shining, but I didn't think so either. But yeah, I didn't think it was as bad as some people said. And they are showing very clearly how they use and abuse children. Much more than I thought.
For the adrenochrome.
Yeah. And sorry to say, it's a real thing, but I don't want to go into it. But these horrible people, they use and abuse children as much as they can in many different ways.
You see, the lead character in the Doctor Sleep, that's more of my idea of Lilith, the feeling that I have about Lilith. You know, she was beautiful, really. She was attractive, and you know, in the beginning of the movie, you know, it's woo, you know, and then when you see the movie goes on, you know, it's predatory, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Rebecca Ferguson is just beautiful. She's a
Yeah.
great actress, smart. Yeah. So yeah.
I think she was the best part in that movie.
Oh, undoubtedly.
And the Lilith character can be dark, can be hard to work with. You should have the right attitude, respect, and understand what's going on. Many times when we're talking about this subject, like the strangler of children, then in The Shining, you have this strangler of children, because you know that Danny have been strangled by a mad woman or a crazy lady woman, Wendy says, and you have this marks on his shirt. Therefore, we know it's Lilith as well. But the strangler of children, I have another take on it. If you use sex not to have children, you are the strangler of children, because you don't allow children to be made. Because she is not about to produce children. Therefore, she is the strangler of children. And that's a very, very big idea. People has no clue that they think. But if sex is only to have children and to reproduce, then you miss a very powerful method. That's the message of Lilith. She tells you don't use sex for producing children. But she doesn't say that you shouldn't have. But if you contact me, that's not the main reason you're here. I am the strangler of children.
Yeah, and there's parallels between Lilith and the myth of Medea, Jason and Medea, because they're both obviously magicians, witches. They kill children out of revenge or taking a stance. And I always had this idea of having, I couldn't write it. I would need a female to help out, but having sort of Lilith and Eve meet at the garden and have a conversation and both criticize each other for their life choices, but then they come to sort of understanding of why they make these decisions. I think it'd be a cool like play or short movie. So any women writers want to get together, I think it'd be great. So, but again, bring in Samael. Samael's, of course, the leather jacket, motorcycle guy. Adam's like, you're a white middle class American, so it'd be kind of fun. But
the Samael character is very interesting, because the Gnostic shamanist point to him as the demiurge. But what I think it is that if you don't manage to pull through Lilith and Samael's ordeal, you end up as the demiurgic victim in this material matrix, because you lose your spark. So I think it's a misunderstanding. I just think that Samael have become this demiurge because his people have fallen prey, but that's not his purpose. It's more of a trickster. If I have to point out demiurge, I would point to Enlil and Ninurta and maybe Zeus.
That makes sense. Yeah, and even in the Gnostic gospel, the demiurge's consort is called ignorance or madness. It's a symbol that things are unbalanced, and therefore this is the world. So don't take it too seriously. Well, awesome. Well, I think we better wrap it up. I have a little Lilith that I have to take to ballet classes today. So, for those of you watching, I've got David's YouTube channel. I accidentally put the wrong one in the show notes, but this is the right one. This is when you go to the show notes or you're watching here, this is David's channel. It's called Hermes Trismegistus if you pull it up. And check out, he's got videos, he's putting out content, and It's
Yeah,
we're
well,
only getting. I think we're only getting warmed up here. So, but
yeah.
we better wrap it up. Thank you very much, you guys in the chat, for your support, for the great comments, for keeping it real. And thank you, Vince, for keeping them company and keeping us company.
Oh,
Yeah.
my pleasure as always.
Thank you to all of you, Miguel, Vince, and thank you to your wonderful audience. Great questions, and thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, your work is invaluable, I would say. Very important, and I'm glad it is an honor to share your gnosis, because it's only bringing more sparks of light in the darkness and the darkness of mere being. So, but that's it. Again, thank you. Please support. Don't forget Mitch Horowitz on Monday and some great shows. And I hope everybody with this information has a great weekend. Enjoy the weather while you can. And as I always say, write your own gospel, live your own myth. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.